All right, hey everyone, welcome back to Evoked Thoughts, the podcast where we all sit here and talk about stuff that's kind of cool sometimes. I'm Jay, the usual host here, and I've got with me,
I'm Alex.
And I'm Michael.
and we've got,
Oh.
and we've got a special guest with us today who is here. I'm very excited about it. Here to talk about a lot of different stuff that I think is going to be really interesting. And would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, it's me, Tyler Williams.
All
you
right.
know me.
I've been talking about him on my Facebook recently, been checking out his music and stuff, and we're really excited to have someone in here who does something completely different than any of us and can really kind of talk about that.
Well, I'm excited to explain the whole process to you guys.
Yes, yeah. So anyone who is really interested in music creation or production or any of that kind of stuff, we're going to be getting into some stuff that I know nothing about. So please get excited and show it to your friends. So
Something Jay knows nothing about? That could be anything.
yeah, well,
Ouch.
Brutal.
sometimes.
Ouch,
Sometimes.
not on a podcast.
Oh, it's all right. My ignorance is broadcasted worldwide. Just to get started, I think for me, I started listening to Firefly again, like I'd kind of told you before the show, and you released it in, what was it, 2015?
Yeah, in 2016, 2015. It was my senior year. The very last day of my senior year, I released it.
Yeah, and man, I
It
posted.
was cutting it close.
I posted about it because I was like, this guy made this entire album while doing senior year. Like, I barely did senior year, and I was trying real hard.
See, it was finding a balance because I released the Golden, which was just straight piano, and that was along with me trying to figure out how to use recording equipment and then get everything on iTunes my sophomore year as well. I had to switch my priorities a little bit, which came back to bite me in the butt. But I definitely put my music first over academics, and as I just said, it kind of bit me in the butt a little bit. But hey, making money off of it now, so.
We had an entire conversation why college isn't really important. Academics, so long as you know how to, pay bills and eat food.
Yeah.
What more do you really need at high school?
Yeah, please refer to our college episode to get more insight on that. But moving forward on it, it's just something that I think, as I'd said before, I am definitely not in this field. The farthest I get is sitting here and talking in front of a microphone sometimes and being okay at it. But to hear something that a guy I knew in high school produced, I don't know if it was necessarily entirely on your own, but as I understand it, it's something that you made, and I'm like, that's insane, because I put it in, I'm listening to it alongside other produced, highly produced music of artists that people know, and I put it in, and it sounds like the same quality, and it's all this crazy, synth work and orchestral stuff, and I'm like, I have not, I could not even understand how that starts, you know what I mean? So I guess for me, it just comes down to where do you even begin with something like that? It seems like such a daunting task.
That's the fun part about it, is starting it all, is just composing. I love composing. I love songwriting. I love the whole art of it. Because it's just imagination. I've always been a person to have a very wide imagination and very open-minded to things. And I take every idea and every scene and every second of life that I can find any type of inspiration from, and I try to write about it. And the first track, Firefly, which is also the name of the album, I got the idea when I was hanging out with my friends, and we were just out on a lake, and it was nice, and it was just calming and everything, and I was like, hey, this would be a really pretty scene. And I get home, I'm like, so I just keep picturing this pretty scene, and I'm like, what type of music would go behind it, in a movie type of sense? Yeah, so that's where the first track came from. In my mind, the four movements, that took me a while. That went through multiple trial and error with that, because I tried with this group of instruments, I'm like, no, I don't like that, or this group of instruments, and then I went back, rewrote it, went back and forth with that whole process.
Yeah, and I gotta
And
say that's my favorite part of the
really, the
entire
inner
album.
lines?
Yeah, it's something
Awesome.
that
I'm glad you enjoy it.
the first two specifically were something that I remembered listening to, and I was like, it starts up in an orchestral kind of way, and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of know like what's going on here, and I'm expecting kind of like a certain, like feel from it, and then it like changes so much, and I was like, wow, that's like really,
Awesome.
really different, and I'm all for any type of media that does something different than what you're expecting, and so I've got it like in my rotation.
Well, that is definitely me as different, so that's what I shoot for.
So, but yeah, so you say that one just kind of came about from a lot of trial and error?
Oh, big time. Big time. It was originally going to be like a rock band type of thing.
Oh,
It'd
yeah?
be like,
Right.
yeah.
So what turned you off to that idea? I'm just curious. Why did it end up being a solo thing?
Oh, well, okay. So, have you listened to it?
Yes, I've listened to the first half of it. Admittedly, I
Okay,
still need to make it through the second.
Okay, cool. Well,
But I really liked it. It was awesome stuff.
well, with 1, 2, 3, there are 4 movements, and at the beginning, it just uses piano cymbal and snare. Then it moves on to a brass ensemble. Then with the third movement, it goes into a woodwind ensemble. Then in the fourth movement, it combines all the instruments. Well, okay, when I first started it though, I wanted that main theme I first started with to being like guitar and drums and stuff, and with trumpets as well as like a adventurous type of feel, because I think it was inspired when I was going. I think I traveled through like Missouri or Colorado or somewhere, and we were just driving, and I'm like, we need some driving music, and I would like something, but that was like 6 months previous to when I actually started writing it, or like 7 months, so I kind of lost the idea, and then I came up with the idea, and the guy who actually, he pushed some of my ideas and directed them on which way they should go, and he was like, I think you should totally not do the rock band idea. I'm like, why? Rock band would be awesome. He's like, put some woodwinds in it. I'm like, I don't want to. He's like, put some woodwinds in it. I'm like, okay, I'll put some woodwinds in it. So it just slowly evolved into what it was, and it was a long process because there were a lot of parts when the players came over. All of it, you keep bringing out MIDI. Nothing on there was MIDI. It was all acoustically live. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was
Dang.
a really, really fun learning process. Was learning how to mic all the instruments, because you got clarinet, piccolo, E flat clarinet, French horn, trumpet. And at that time, I didn't have the equipment that I have today, so I appreciate you enjoying the production and, what word am I looking for? Okay, skip it.
That's all right.
No, it's such an amazing thing, now that you say that it was like all of this like legitimate like live, not to say that it would be illegitimate if it was, censored or something like that. It's still just like amazing to me to think that did you like know all of these people and like set it up, or did you like reach out for like people?
Oh,
or?
yeah, because I was band, and because I was in band, I had all the connections. So I was just like, hey, friends,
I was a choir kid.
everyone.
It's obligation. Choir kids, we have to call them nerds.
See, I was more like the
That's true. I was taught that, and I was only in choir for like 3 weeks. So no, I was in for like a year and a half.
Choir kids, not great people.
No. I mean, to each their own. Everything,
literally
but
teach their own. Everyone stayed separate, and
yeah, so separate.
Anyone dare cross paths?
It was.
You know, the rooms were side by side.
It was all in the same hallway, and it was just. Sometimes you make eye contact and
Run. Put your
acknowledgement.
head down and
No,
move.
dude, it was like almost a war sometimes, though. You walk out in that hallway and you see someone carrying an instrument that isn't of your kind, and you're like, this is bad. I don't know what to do.
I guess maybe I became desensitized because I had to walk down the full thing past band, orchestra, drama just to get to choir.
And it helps
Make
that
a run for it. We got that short little.
it helps that your eye level was like 2 feet above everyone else, so you're just like in another world, just passing over them.
I have no problems. Ah! Everyone just glaring at me. Die.
But yeah, man, I think it really shows too, because like, I don't know why I knew, but like listening to it, I was just like, this is real. Like, this is real instruments being played. This is people being conducted, and like, you can feel like the passion in it. You know what I mean? And that's something that I feel like is lost a lot of times in some modern music when they're trying to just kind of like reproduce the sound of someone playing an instrument rather than having someone who like cares about that instrument playing it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think probably the only time I've heard that, like you're talking about the passion behind the instruments in recent music, and I mean recent as in just last year, was Pray for the Wicked.
Yeah.
The brass section in that, it was a lot of you could hear the instrumentalists were having fun. And actually, I don't remember which song. One of the drunks. It cuts out with just the producer coming in over the mic, just jiving with the instrumentalists, like talking about how much fun they're having with the instrument itself. It was so. Aside from that, I don't think I've heard any like real great in terms of like, aside from maybe some guitar work, real passion in like instrumentalists and like popular music anyway of recent time.
Yeah, so I think it was really cool to hear that and kind of get that feeling of something that people care about and that passion building. And I think that helps for something that's as I don't know, like stadium music. You know what I mean? Like it's so like powerful and like epic. You know what I mean? By the time that you're like building through it, it builds up. You earn every emotion through each movement of it.
That's crazy description. Dang, you guys are putting in more compliments than I did with this. Thank you.
Nah, man, if you're on this, we're gonna boost your ego at least by 3 times.
Yeah, man.
Whoa,
Sure.
Okay. My ego's already pretty up there, but
Yeah, welcome to it.
Well, people who are good at stuff, it should be known that they're good at stuff, you know. And
Thank you.
you made some great music, and I want people who listen to this to go out and check out Firefly. It's on Spotify, right?
yeah, on iTunes and YouTube. Have you guys heard anything else? Because I know we're mainly focusing on Firefly right now, but I got a little bit more stuff too.
Yeah, I remember I listened to Golden a long time ago also, and I just checked it out again when I was listening to Firefly. I just kind of took a day to listen to all your music because I was like, man, I love Tyler, and I gotta actually be supporting this guy, and that's when Firefly's what stuck to me, because especially the In Your Mind stuff. But I also it was last year, I think, that Song for Sally, my friend and roommate Rios, another one of the hosts here, he brought it over to me and was like, dude, did you know that Tyler made this like super like modern like poppy song? And I'm like, really? What? And like I listened to it and I was like, whoa, like that's literally something that you feel like could be on the radio. And it's like,
Thank you, I appreciate that. That was with my newer equipment and my new writing style. So it's like it was nice to work with everyone on that, because I brought strings in and I never recorded strings before, and I got a really couple good vocalist friends that came in and helped work with me on that. He the lead singer that you hear there. I don't know if we should name any names or not, so I'm gonna keep it.
If you want to, that's totally fine.
The name is already out there, so if I slip it, then I guess it really doesn't matter. But no, he's classically trained as a theater major, which I think you know a little bit about. And so I was like, for this next song, I really, before I release Song for Sally, I'm like, I want a theater major. I'm writing theatrical pop here. That's the genre that I'm shooting for. So I was asking around, and he was just standing around one day. I'm like, hey, listen to this. Tell me if you want to help me make this over the summer. He listened to it. He was like, man, this rocks. It's totally awesome. I'm like, you're down? And I'm like, yeah, he's down. He was like, yeah, I'm down. So over the summer, we got to a couple other songs, but those are in like demo area right now. And while Song for Sally, we primarily put most of our focus on Song for Sally, so that's why it actually got released. Then I was on drums, I was on keys. I wrote the string parts. Writing the string parts was really fun. Yeah. Working with the string players was really fun, because originally I was not close with them. There was just a couple string players that I talked to more than the other string players. Right. So I'm like, hey, do you guys want to help me out with this project? They're like, sure. So everyone put in so much time. And to go back to Firefly as well, that took even more amounts of time, because people's schedule was even crazier as well.
Oh, I'm sure. It must have been like herding cats with that many people.
It was, because this was during the school year as well. Song for Sally was mainly over the summer, so there's a little bit more lenience in time. Of course, everyone has their own lives and everyone has their own busyness level and their own amount that they can take in. So it's like I completely respect and I love every moment they were able to come in to my house, sit down, learn the music, and put in all that time and effort. So literally none of this would have happened without their assistance, and I thank them so much for that.
Oh,
Yeah.
As much as I habitually have learned to joke at instrumentalists, they are the best people on the planet. I've never met an instrumentalist that I didn't like. They're so open to doing beautiful work.
Wow, thank
Whereas
you.
if
They're
I
going to be
meet
glad to hear
vocalists-
that.
Notably, I'm not around instrumentalists as often.
Yeah.
So I'm around vocalists more. And vocalists are some of the cattiest people on
They're
the
just
planet.
mean people, yeah. You
Not
know.
all of them.
Oh, not all of them.
But no,
I would say they have more of a wall than most. You have to get to know them a
No,
little bit.
having been a choir kid, I've met the meanest people I've known in choir,
yeah,
but
I
I
know-
also
I know
might
some
have
mean
been
people, but I'm
one
not-
of those people, so it's a matter of perspective, I guess.
no, I think.
Show choir especially, oh god.
Oh Jesus.
Show choir was wild.
Show choir was show choir.
Yes. But I'm curious. You talked about that song Sally is your more updated writing style. What is what is your method of writing? How has it evolved over the years?
Theatrical pulp. Well, essentially, in better terms, I went from writing like 21 Pilots to writing my own like musical-ish style. I started listening. I was inspired by a lot more musicals than 21 Pilots or like Sleeping with Sirens or something that I was more inspired by in high school.
So, what would be like your top inspirations? Would you say?
Top inspirations?
Yeah.
Well, I would say musicals, big time musicals, because it's like that varies like off. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
And it's like there's a lot of pop artists and stuff that I'm inspired by. 21 Pilots, believe it or not, Ariana Grande, she's shooting at the roof right now.
Yeah.
No matter what you guys think of her, like everyone has their own opinion, but right now, she is the most up-to-date pop singer there is, and she is blowing up out of the water right now.
Regardless of her as a person, her music is fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Because even like, especially with how much diversity she has in all of her different types of songs, it's like
definitely.
it doesn't matter if you like one song, because in the suite of like 6 breakout like crazy record, chart-topping songs she released over the summer, you like one of them, probably 3.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to, you're like, oh, that's a beat that's stuck in my head now that I'm kind of okay with jiving to. So if no one's here, I'm gonna dance.
So yeah, it was recently Ariana Grande too. So it's like I'm leaning more toward pop. I haven't had much work with like pop or like technology because most of the stuff I do is acoustic. Like all of Song for Sally was mainly acoustic. There was an upright bass in there as well. And you said
nice.
you played bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The violin player doubled as a bass player as well. So shout out to her.
Like at the same time, or?
I mean, a bass is just a really big violin, right?
That's true. I play the giant violin.
Oh,
That's my instrument.
no, it is not the same thing. Oh, I had to stand up for that or I'm going to get beaten up. No, it's definitely not the same thing.
It
Don't
is
ask
very
me.
different.
It is very different. Okay, cool. Glad we got that settled.
I've met another.
I played cello, so it was like kind of a guitar, but not
I
really,
love cello.
and it was all something that.
Oh no, I shouldn't say this on here, but I forgot my guitar again at school. I'm so mad at myself. Okay, this is the 3rd day in a row. This is the 3rd day I forgot my guitar. Okay. Anyways, that is not part of this conversation.
So
Oh, hey, wait, dude, do you mind if I interject? Cause
Yeah, go
curious,
ahead.
man. Okay, so like, what instruments do you play? Like, I'm curious because you do piano, guitar.
what
like,
instruments don't I play? Is the
Dude,
question?
like, dude, I want you to start rattling off, man. I am curious.
Oh, so you want me to start? Okay.
Start with the kazoo. Just start.
Honestly, I bet I could learn it. I touched the kazoo like twice, but
It's
it's
not that
it's
skill.
not that hard.
Kind of like a didgeridoo.
Kind of like it.
I'm joking.
Okay. No, yeah, I was about to say,
Vaguely, in that they're both vibrating sticks.
yeah, exactly.
In the same way that shut up. Kazoo, didgeridoo, clarinet, it's all the same. It's all a vibrating stick, right?
Oh jeez. Okay. So kazoo, clarinet, oboe, gear shifter. No. So
Mayonnaise.
anyway, mayonnaise. Wow. Oh, Michael for the win there. Okay. So anyway, but yeah, going back to it, I am definitely curious too. What instruments do you have, and how do you keep up with all of that? How do you consistently
don't.
stay?
I don't.
So do you end up like training a specific instrument that you know you're going to be playing in a thing?
Precisely.
Ah, okay,
Precisely.
okay.
I have at my house I used to have 4 pianos. I used to have like a small like roll-out piano. I had 2 keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
No, I used to have 3 keyboards, like a super duper duper old and cheap one. And then I upgraded to like this MIDI keyboard, and I realized I didn't need a MIDI keyboard with what I was doing. It was I want to say like 16 key or 32 key or something.
Probably 32. Most midis, they only go so low.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was like, well, I don't need this to record Golden, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna drop the money for a large keyboard. So I had a giant keyboard, and I also had a upright grand piano, an upright piano, not grand. Yeah, I got rid of that. That upright was actually my very first piano, so that was fun. It was taking up a lot of room, and my studio was growing, so I need to move that out. Anyways, to continue on the actual topic that we were talking about, I play flute, and if you guys are wondering like how legitimate is this, well, I took flute for 2 semesters. My freshman year, like I dabbled with all these instruments, high school, slight 8th grade and middle school to now. I've dabbled with all these instruments. But then I've like actually taken lessons and sat down and got taught and worked in choirs and stuff with all these instruments. I can play flute, I can play oboe, I can play harp. Again, these are all lesson trained. I can play trombone just because it's a brass instrument. I can teach myself that eventually. It's like I'm not good at it, I'm not fluent at it. I know the slide positions kind of. My main instrument is French horn. The second instrument is piano. Piano's definitely up there. Cornet was my second instrument, and recorder, if you want to count that, was my very first instrument.
Wasn't it everyone's?
Yeah, exactly.
That or the kazoo.
I mean, some people start piano early.
You're true.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
I dabbled with organ for a little bit. I don't know if I can still play it. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, kind of not.
It's not messing with the valves and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The pedals, and then you have your hands in a different position than you would with the piano.
Piano with more steps.
I just now got that. Okay. Like, what do you mean more steps? Like half steps, whole steps? Oh, steps. Like, okay.
Literal steps.
I don't know. I said oboe, did I?
Yeah.
Okay. Saxophone. I can't play clarinet worth my life. Don't give me a clarinet. I tried learning clarinet. My best friend plays clarinet. He tried teaching me for a while. I borrowed his clarinet for a while. I tried a couple times. It was hard, so I put it down and never touched it again.
That was me with the violin. I really wanted to learn that instrument and tried for a while, and was like, God, this is a lot of like real effort that someone else out there is doing and really cares about, and I'm like just kind of having fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's too much like true like life commitment to an instrument.
I met actually quite a handful of violinists actually, and.
But power to them. I mean, it's amazing.
They are.
I love the instrument and would absolutely wish that I could do something like that.
And
but
the best violinists I've met are the most dedicated people. They pick
Yeah.
it up every day and
Yeah.
they're on that every day.
Because you have to.
You have to.
You
It's
have
such
to.
a complex just practice.
And if you're not practicing and getting better, someone else is.
Right, exactly.
That's the crazy part about music.
Yes.
the
Crazy
competition
part,
of it all.
Competition is crazy. Back to what I was saying, I remembered some right when he said violin. I cannot play string instruments. I tried. I mean, if you want to count string as an orchestral instruments, I play guitar though, acoustic, electric, and bass, bass guitar, electric bass.
Nice.
I tried cello for like a month. Didn't work out for me too well. I'm going to leave that to the actual string players. Because I really like cello, and I'm probably going to take cello before I graduate is what I'm hoping, so I can be decently fluent in it. But I'm gonna leave it alone for right now, as
But
long as I'm
strings
not
are
being taught.
hard.
Strings are very hard,
Yeah.
especially from a brass player's perspective.
Yeah, strings are rough.
I am trained vocally, so I don't understand any of it. I had to take piano. I'm like, I'm doing two things at once. That doesn't work. What do you mean I have to use both hands?
You're like, wait, I have 2 of those?
Coordination.
I don't look. I can make one note at a time. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
5?
Yeah.
You want more? What?
Yeah. I tried drums for a summer, and when they said you use your feet actively while using your hands, I was like,
We have a
how,
problem here.
why, and go away.
Drum sets are so fun. I love drum sets. So
It's so cool and so awesome, and you want to be that dude who can just like rap it all out. But I was like, I have no coordination. This is not happening.
See, a big shout out to my parents though, because think about this. They've had to witness and listen to me learn all of these instruments.
Yeah.
And it has not been pretty.
Yeah,
I have
man.
not been good at these.
Yeah, real respect to the parents of instrumentalists. You people, you are the homies.
Yeah, especially drum set. I was very scared. They were gonna be like, Tyler, it's just not working out for you, buddy.
Right. They're like, we love you,
Yeah,
and
we
we
love
appreciate
you,
everything
but
you're
we gotta
doing.
be honest
but
with
it's
you.
been 30 minutes, and I'm dying.
Like the crashing of the like $30 drum set cymbals, it's not working out right now for you, buddy. So
No, and especially like instruments are such a money sink. It's just
don't even get me started on the money part. I have
can't
dropped,
imagine.
especially trying to grow a recording studio,
Yeah.
like starting
Yeah.
from
Not bad.
it was second semester or maybe my second year.
And this was of high school?
Sophomore year. Shoot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, yes. Okay. So okay. I was originally talking about college because
Yeah.
that's when I started studying. That's when I went into my first class for production. I'm like, okay, here's all the stuff that I need. Work a whole bunch, then lose all your money and spend it all on that and grow your studio. But no, matter of fact, yes, my sophomore year of high school was when I bought my first interface and my first program, Studio 1, 2. And it did me well. It worked for quite a while, and I first started off with a laptop, realized what I was doing, it needed more power, so I dropped the money for a whole Mac. Which actually I struggled to create golden because the MIDI processor was so slow on the computer, it kept crashing. So I'd record something, then it'd have like a 75% chance of crashing in the middle of the recording. So I had to go through that process, create 6 songs, and I released it, and I plugged golden like crazy. And I made a decent amount of money, let me say it paid for over half of that Mac.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was a good little turnout. Then I released Firefly, and I'm like, I don't feel like plugging it as much. I was very distracted and focused on trying to get into college and stuff because that's what I was shooting for, was to be able to study under some of the people that I study under today.
Are you implying
Yeah.
that at the end of senior year of high school you were distracted?
I'm literally distracted by everything. My priorities were changed. My priorities were not on plugging my music, but it was definitely still like, this is something I want to do, so I had to release something.
Well, you now have a dedicated fan in Jalen who will.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
Never
4
stop.
years later,
Yeah.
you've got a guy who's just going to be sitting here talking about this thing you made in 2015 like it's brand new.
Man, hopefully I can release
So-
some more stuff you can talk about. 'cause
No,
it's like,
absolutely,
I got a
man.
whole bunch of ideas coming up, and it's coming. It's coming. The wave is coming. It's gonna.
The
Man.
forever mood.
Yeah.
It's
So,
gonna be big.
like, speaking of that, like, what are your plans for the future? Like, both near and far. Like, are you going to like drop anything soon? And if not,
Oh.
like, what do you plan on doing like after you graduate?
Well, I don't know how much I want to spill.
No, yeah, hold your secrets if you
Yeah,
want.
Yeah,
That's
of
fine,
course.
that's
No, no.
fine.
We're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
we want to give you an opportunity to say what you want to say about what's coming
Yeah.
up. If that's nothing, that's fine. If you
Yeah.
want to just say stuff's coming, that's cool.
We're not here to pull teeth. No
Well,
worries.
No.
Oh shit.
I will say this. I want to. The next album I'm going to release, because I want it to be an album. It's going to be a while still, probably, but less time than it would take, because I'm actually wanting to do this all by myself. Vocals, instruments, everything. So
Oh wow.
yeah, that's going to be a big step for me. So right now, I'm going to be actually going to vocal therapy to see what I can do
Yeah,
with
right
my
on.
vocals and try to find my quote unquote sound with my voice.
Right.
So yeah, because
Sick.
that's always been a little bit of a struggle for me.
Yeah.
Is my voice, but there's a point in time when you work with so many people, because again, with all these wonderful people who have worked with me, there's been a lot of people who have not worked with me or left me or
Right.
did not like what I do, and it's like, okay, I have this ability, I have all this musical talent, I have this musical knowledge. Let's do this for myself.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can do by myself, because
Yeah.
I never know.
Oh, and especially
Because I
vocalization.
never know.
I'm huge. I know that there's a lot of people I've met who are super preachy about like what someone can and can't do, but
Yeah.
I'm a huge like proponent of every single person can make beautiful noise. Like
Yeah.
vocalization, it's the innate thing that every human can do, given
Yeah.
the training and time that they put
Giving
in.
training and time, exactly. Training, time, and want.
Exactly.
The persistence, and how much do you want it? Yeah, exactly.
But like, and the support network for it, because sometimes you can't find the teacher that jives with you. It's the training you need wants to be training you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of there's a lot of bad teachers out there, but there's also a lot of teachers and trainers who they have a very strong focus, and that's their only focus. They're not there to push everyone to be the best they can be. But there's great people out there, and when you find them, they're
Yeah.
amazing.
So, going back a little bit, I'm curious, when we started talking about it and you started saying that it was like this, you had every person playing instruments on Firefly, I now find myself wondering, how many people did you actually have to gather for Firefly and for even like Song for Sally? Like how did all that work?
Again, they were just they were in band with me, so it's like I already had their contacts. But I went through, I think it was 2 trumpet players. One guy came to rehearsal. He went off to college because it was during the summer whenever I first started writing it. Yeah, in my mind started in the summer of my junior year. That's when I started writing Firefly, the whole album.
Mm-hmm.
How many people was it? It was.
And even just a ballpark is fine. It doesn't have to
Okay,
be
yeah,
exact
good point.
number.
I'm pretty sure you don't want to hear silence and hear me counting. Let's say 10 people, 11 people maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then getting all
2
those
flutes,
schedules aligned.
2 flutes, 1 clarinet, 1 trumpet, me, piano and drums. Oboe, yeah, oboe. I got an oboe player. Actually, I had 2 oboe players. One for one song, and if you go further down the line, I think it's the 8th track. 8th track is a Sing Me a Song, and that was an oboe solo, and I actually got a professional guy to come over and record that.
Oh wow.
Dang.
Yeah, he was a graduate student, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was our student teacher at the time. I'm like, hey, want to help me out with this project? He's like, yeah, sure. So we got together and recorded that.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So
Yeah.
how does the process change going from something like Firefly to something like Song for Sally? Or we haven't even mentioned it yet, but Blank, right? That's you as well. isn't
Oh, yeah. Okay.
it? Yeah, that's something that I checked out as well when I was
Oh.
looking through stuff, and that definitely caught my attention. And something that's like actually in my rotation that I'm like listening to, every
Blank
other day.
was just a trial. Blank
Yeah.
was a good trial. It was like, okay, I did all this. Now let's see if I can do this. It was to reach out, as like a songwriter, is to try to like put my songwriting out there instead of just my instrumental work,
Right.
to put out my words as well. Same thing with Song for Sally. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. I don't know if you were
Oh,
able
yeah?
to catch that, but there was a demo for Wind and Trees. I still don't know how to feel about it, but Dead Dreams. That was fun. That was fun to make because I got to work with my friend on that. It was a fun little project. I don't know how serious people want to take it, but it was my actual attempt at writing a trap song And it's like,
Gosh,
I
goodness.
put in actually a few cuss words, but then I'm like, wait, my mother's going to want to hear this. So I'm like, okay. Heck. Let's go with heck.
Oh heck.
That makes it so much more fun though, because then you can just like, you know,
It's
take
so
it as seriously as you
it's
want
so
to.
cheesy.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
it's a little dicky kind of thing.
It's a good niche to find.
So yeah, you gotta send me a link to that, and I'll put it in the description of this, and start pimping that too.
Awesome.
But
Cool.
yeah, so what's the difference with those kinds of things though? How do you go from doing something you know that you're so familiar with in instrumentals and working with these people that you know like this, and then going to something that's so different than what you've done so far and trying to produce something like Song for Sally or Blank?
Well, as with most things I do in life, I see what works and then doesn't work.
A lot of trial and error.
Just trial and error. That's a lot what I do with my music, and that's still what I'm doing right now. Is like, I'm putting all this stuff out, and I'm seeing what people are like. Yes, put more of this stuff out, or no, don't stay away from that. Don't do that.
Right.
Good Lord, no. No,
And
no.
it's like, it's not that. It's I enjoy writing all of it, and so there's the question of, well, do what you love. Don't worry about what people say. Well,
Sure, but what if I can't eat?
exactly. I hate to bring money into this, and it's like I love the art that I do, but if I'm going to turn this into a career,
Yeah.
exactly. I have to. If I want to turn this into a career, then I have to start going where what people like, and plus.
Yeah.
If I can write all this and I enjoy writing all this, then it really has no harm on me if I write what people like.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially, there's no problem.
No,
So
trust
it's like
me.
if they like my pop stuff, if they like my softer stuff, then yeah,
Yeah.
no sweat off my back.
We know exactly what you're talking about here. This is something that, right now we're doing podcasts, but we have
Yeah.
so much we want to do here at Evo, so many stories we want to tell, and
Yeah.
crazy things. We're making a tabletop role-playing game, it's all this crazy
Oh.
stuff, and yeah.
That is almost
Talk about trials, man. Trial and error, and dice and percentages and statistics.
That's the main reason I shamefully I admit I haven't actually listened to any of your stuff at all, because most of my time is just
That's fine.
running new numbers.
I'm
for
just
the
throwing more work at him, but you know what? We're going to start listening to it in the background, and I'm going to start trying to make him listen, because I want you to be aware, because it's good stuff. But
It's okay, man. And honestly, that's the thing, because I'm going into this. I was completely aware. I also have my YouTube as well, water bottle. And it's like I'm going into this knowing that I may be something totally different, or I am something totally different from what people expect.
Right.
And so whether they like it or listen to it or not, I'm not hurt at all, because that is just what I'm going into as an artist.
Right,
You have
right.
to be able to take criticism, and then you have to be able to take people who don't know how to give criticism very well.
Yep.
Yep.
I wrote a book.
I'm here for it.
I wrote a book, and yesterday I got my 6th denial letter from an agent, going on for a 7th.
Hey, man. Keep
But-
trying. Wasn't there someone
Yeah.
with, what was it like? It wasn't Dr. Zeus. It was someone else who got like 7 or 8 or like 10 or something.
Oh yeah,
Was it
no,
Jim?
there are so many authors who talk
Jim.
about their 25th publisher denial and stuff on new books they're releasing. So it's all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, that's a message to all the listeners out there. Never stop trying. If you're
Never
doing
stop
something
trying.
and you care about it, there will be someone out there who you find who's like-minded, and then there will be more people that they'll tell, and you will
Exactly,
build a
exactly.
group of people who want to hear what you're doing.
Kinda
and
like
wanna
right
be
now.
there.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you doing this.
Absolutely, man. No problem at all. No problem at all. But speaking of all of that, we're down to it's getting to where we got a couple more minutes here. So is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or anything else you'd like to plug, or let the listeners know about that you want them to check out?
Just keep an eye open for new stuff coming out, because I want to release something, at least a single, in the next couple months.
All right.
At least a single in the next couple months.
And you're on iTunes and Spotify.
Yeah,
Is it just
iTunes, Spotify,
under Tyler Williams? Or?
Tyler Williams or Words of Wisdom. Most likely Words of Wisdom. Why did I separate the names? Well, one was by accident, and then I just kind of like went with it. Tyler Williams is my more like instrumental stuff.
Sure.
No word stuff. Words of Wisdom is my songwriter name. So
Okay.
yeah,
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right on.
It was great having you on, man.
Yeah, thank you
Great
for coming through. And so everyone knows this is part 1. We'll have a part 2 that we'll be recording and releasing
yep, and I will be back.
next week, and we'll have Tyler back, and we'll be talking. It'll be a little bit less about the minutia of kind of the creation of music, and more about music as an industry and as it's evolving now, and kind of how we see things, how we feel about things, and where we think things are going. So
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for that one as well.
yeah, me too. I got a lot to say about the current media industry. So. All right, thank you again for coming on,
thank you
and
for having me. I
thank you
appreciate it.
everyone for listening. Yeah, no problem at all. We love to have people on here. So all right,
Yeah,
thank
thanks for
you,
coming,
and we'll
man.
see you again next week.